evening, everybody. And welcome to episode 24 of the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. My name is Chris. I am, as per usual, the host, and with me tonight is the ever-lovable Dan.
Good evening, everyone.
Caught you off guard there, didn't I? The
You
even
did. I
more
thought you were
lovable
gonna be-
Tiff.
Hi.
And the infinitely lovable Dean.
Nice.
I would
How's
just like to
everybody
point out
feeling
that
tonight?
some infinities are bigger than others.
There's nothing wrong with that. Infinities are many different sizes. There's infinite different sizes of infinities.
Oh, I see what you did.
Mind blown. All right. Well, it is week 1 of November 2014. The year is almost up, and so what we're going to do is focus on the past. We're going to take a look back at October and what we've all been doing and what games have been keeping us warm throughout this cold October month. And it actually really wasn't all that cold now that I think about it here in New Jersey. But we're gonna kick this thing off. We're gonna do all sorts of things because I, for one, played lots of really interesting games, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have been playing as well. So why don't we kick things off with Mr. Dean?
Okay. I have a quick thing to go over real quick, and then I have what I've been actually playing. It's mainly been a Pokemon month for me because the new Pokemon's coming out in, I think, a few weeks. And I started with Pokemon Y, which is the one that came out for the 3DS that had the new graphics and everything and what really everyone wanted out of a new Pokemon game. And it's great. It's more Pokemon. There's nothing really to it. It's what you would expect from a Pokemon game. I really don't know how much there is to say about it, especially if anyone's ever played Pokemon before. Chris, I'm looking at you because you've now played Pokemon. It's
Well, I don't know about calling it have played Pokemon. I'm
playing
still
currently.
yeah, still
Sorry.
only about a total of maybe an hour into it. But.
Right. But you know, it's a great game. I'm having a lot of fun. I actually just happened to pick it up at a really good time because during the month of October, because the new one was coming out, they gave me all these special cards so I could talk over the wireless internet and download shiny Pokemon. I got a Gengar. I got another one for a legendary Pokemon that looks like a pink diamond turd called Beyonce. I guess it's Beyonce's Pokemon alternate ego. I don't know. It looks really stupid. I haven't even used it. I was excited about the Gengar, but whatever the hell this other thing is, it certainly should not be a legendary Pokemon. At any rate, it's a great game. I've been having a lot of fun. I only got to like the 3rd gym leader. It's much, much tougher than any of the older Pokemon games. In the Game Boy Advanced series, they seem to get a lot easier and a bit longer, to be honest. And it almost seemed monotonous to a point. They sort of made it a bit more difficult to progress, and it seems like you actually have to try in the Pokemon battles, the trainer battles, rather than just kind of hitting A through it and, you know, closing your eyes and just kind of sailing through. There's actually some strategy that goes in because there's so many Pokemon now and so many different combinations. You never know who's going to have what anymore, which is cool. The other thing that I wanted to talk about very briefly was that I happened to pick up another game called Pokemon Conquest. Has anyone heard of this one?
I have indeed. This is the Pokemon Nobunaga's Ambition crossover title.
Yeah, and
Ow.
it's something.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah,
Really,
Nobunaga's Ambition, in case you didn't already know, is actually a series of games. It's from Koei. It's around the same era as like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms kinds of games, and it's like a hardcore strategy game. It's in feudal Japan, am I right?
yes.
Yeah.
I've never played it. I know it exists. I've always looked at it and tried to figure out how to say the name Nobunaga because I didn't know who he was at first. But yeah, when I heard this game existed, I was freaking fascinated. And then when I heard it was coming to America, I was even more fascinated. So please, Dean, tell me, what the heck is this game like?
You ever played Final Fantasy Tactics?
A little bit.
I'd sort of like that. You
Except with Pokemon and feudal lords.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, as obscure as it sounds, it sort of works. I'd actually recommend it to people if you like, tactics-based strategy RPGs or turn-based RPGs. Sorry, I think it's a cool game, man. Especially for the money I paid for it. It was like $12.99 for a used game down at GameStop. I could have bought a brand new one online from Amazon for like $30-$40, but I really don't need it to be shiny in the package. All I really needed was the cartridge. So at that price, it's definitely worth the purchase. It's a really cool game. It's got a lot of content to it. The characters are good. There's some flubs with the translation a little bit, but besides that, it's pretty spot on. So you're leveling the Pokemon, and that's how you gain the abilities. You're not so much fighting with the lords and feudal people so much. They're just the people that have the Pokemon. So you're replacing all the special ranks like archer, swordsman, warrior, berserker, stuff like that with Pokemon, which is it's cool. It's a very novel thing, and it sticks really well. I don't think this game will be getting a sequel, but if you could pick it up and find it, it's definitely worth the time. Because it was so obscure, I don't think it sold well, and it wasn't advertised very well either, because I remember when this game came out, I saw some stuff about it online, and that was about it. And that's the thing. This came out during the DS era. So, you had the regular Pokemon game. You had Pokemon Dungeon, which more kid-oriented or like a RPG light version of Pokemon.
Mystery Dungeon games are just infuriating.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them... They're like kids' versions of Mystery Dungeon games, but what do they call those? Roguelikes?
Yeah.
Those things are... I wouldn't wish those games upon my worst enemies. Those things are evil.
Yeah, and there was another Pokemon game. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe there was another set of Pokemon games.
There was Pokemon Trozei, right? That was the puzzle
game. I could have sworn there was one more besides Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's going to bother me. All right, keep talking. I'll Google search it.
Pokemon Twerk Team.
Yeah, exactly. Pokemon Twerk Team. You got Pikachu shaking her fat ass everywhere. That's exactly what it is.
Gives new meaning to the word Jigglypuff.
You know what? It's starting to come to me now. Pokemon Rescue, is that it? Is that the other one?
Sure.
It might be, but...
The Red Rescue Team and whatnot, weren't those Mystery Dungeon games?
They could have been. It's going to bother me, but... I'm
going to look it up. You keep talking.
At any rate, it came during a bad time, and I'm assuming that's why it didn't sell well. And it's a shame, because, to be honest, for one, there aren't enough strategy RPG games out. I mean, you see so many shooters and sports games and stuff, but think about the last time a strategy RPG came out that actually sold well or got any sort of recognition. I mean, I could think of one anyway on last gen's consoles, and that was Valkyria Chronicles. Besides that, on portables, they've had some more success. You had the re-release of Tactic Ogres. You had Final Fantasy Tactics A2, I think it was called, which was okay. It definitely didn't really compare to the original. You had Advance Wars, thank you.
Pokemon Ranger.
Thank you so much.
That's the one. You're very welcome. But you're leaving out Fire Emblem.
I was actually just getting to that. I couldn't think of the title for a second, and I didn't want to say that game with fucking Morth in it. So, but yeah,
the console versions of Fire Emblem have done pretty well for themselves too. You had the GameCube one and the Wii sequel, both did pretty well.
But I mean, if we're talking about just think about the amount of shooters that have come out and the amount of games like that have come out. There's just such a insane middle ground there that there's so much more shooters, which I guess just goes to the popularity. And shooters are simple, and they're kind of games where you could shut off your brain and just kind of veg and zone out. Strategy RPG games, not really. You got to think about what you're doing. If you move into the wrong block, you're gonna get clusterfucked by like 3 or 4 bad guys, and that's happened to me plenty of times. And Fire Emblem, I'll make a mistake, move into the wrong block, and then that's just the end of it. I'm done. I have to restart the whole mission.
Yeah, they're not as mainstream. They're not as I guess openly accessible because they require so much. There's a lot to them. Like you're saying, you have to really think about what you're doing. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing, unless you're You see, I'm saying all that because I have to pay attention to them. I know people that actually don't have to pay attention to those games. They'll just like subliminally be playing Fire Emblem Awakening on their 3DS while watching something else on television. Just be like, yeah, whatever, kill them, take those troops, move them over there. I can't do that.
You know what it is? I play on the hardcore mode where if someone dies, they're gone for good. And I can't afford to lose anyone at that point because in those games you can level up someone really, really good and then you get attached to them. And if they die after that, that's like soul crushing. That's like you just want to put the whole thing down and forget you ever played it because you gave them all these items. You spent all the time going through their whole not skill tree, I guess level tree you call it, getting like their best job out of them. And they're your go-to guy. You need the boss dead. Take that guy. You go point him at the boss, and it literally takes 3 or 4 shots. But something will happen where I don't know. You have their weakness coming from like 2 sides. He gets ganged up on, and he's done. And it's just like I don't want to play anymore. I'm shutting this off. And that's happened to me once or twice.
Yeah, permadeath is permadeath in Fire Emblem is probably one of the things that kind of scares me away from it a little bit because I don't have the time or I guess the attention span to really dedicate to doing it right. And then there's was it in Fire Emblem Awakening, the new one, they had that non-permadeath mode that you could play in now that a lot of Fire Emblem purists were all like, this is stupid baby mode, you've ruined the game for everybody, blah, 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 blah. Whereas I'm looking at it like, hey, maybe now I'll actually get around to playing this game someday.
Yeah, that's the thing. One of my friends picked it up because he heard that it's sort of a little easier, and he likes the story to them, but it's so scary to go into every battle knowing that any of these dudes could just drop dead. And at the start, whatever, if someone dies, it's not a big deal because you didn't invest anything to them. But halfway through the game, if someone dies, that sucks, man. That really does suck if someone's dead. I guess it makes you think more, but the drawback is that it takes a toll every battle. Like I come through that like I was in the battle. Like I'm like you don't know the things I've seen. You just don't understand. But yeah, again, going back to the original thing, Pokemon Conquest is a cool game, and if you guys ever happen to find it, just if you're in a GameStop or just whatever local game store you go to, give it a shot. It's really good, and for the price, you can't go wrong. It's only going to get cheaper too, and actually, I will be doing a Let's Play of that'll go on YouTube. I got a capture card in my DS, and I started recording, just poking around with it, and I believe I'm going to restart the game and go from the beginning and record it from there.
Well, that's freaking cool. Thanks a lot, Dean.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think we missed the most important question, though.
What's up?
Dean.
Hmm?
Who is your favorite?
Oh, that's easy. It's Magikarp.
Well, all right.
So hipster of you.
Damn right it is.
That is such a Vestlord answer.
You're welcome.
I also have to say real quick before we move on that I'm looking at the cover art for this game, which is amazing because it's got like feudal lords all anime style, and then their corresponding Pokemon next to them, and there's some, I don't know, girl dressed in pink and like some warlord dress looking thing, and an angry Jigglypuff next to her.
You don't mess with an angry Jigglypuff.
Floating Jigglypuff with angry eyes. I love it. It's hysterical.
Y'all don't fuck with Jigglypuff, bro.
Have you glommed on to a favorite Pokemon yet, Chris? In your 1 hours of
oh yeah, like yeah. Have you
experience with Pokemon?
Yeah, have you run across anything that you like?
I've only come into contact with, I think, 5 Pokemon so far. Because, well, I mean, you can read it all about my my Pokemon Conquest in my Pokemon propitiation articles on geeklife.com. But just to kind of put things into perspective, so I started a game with a Squirtle, and then I went off into the wild, and I just started grinding. I was just like, ooh, I leveled up. I'm going to level up again. And then I start, feeling the itch like, oh, I get it now. Okay. And then I captured one of these. There's stupid birds everywhere, these little Pidgey things.
Oh, I love
Pidgey. all over the place. Like I'll walk 6 feet and there's another one. Like what are all these birds doing hiding under this grass? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, you gotta get out of the grasslands.
So I'm
It's
just like,
lousy with Pidgeys.
It's Pidgey and
I walk
Rattata.
3 feet and then another Pidgey and the Rattatas walk up. So then I get Pokeballs and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna catch one of these bitches. And then I caught one and then I was like, well, he's only level 3. Squirtle's level 6. Time to grind. So then I start leveling him up and then I was like, I might as well catch one of these rat things. Well, he's only level 2. Time to get to work. And that's about as far as I got. I caught those guys.
Turn this thing into Eradicate.
Yeah, Eradicate is where it's at. I love Eradicate.
I can't remember the name of the other thing I ran into, but it was female because I had a little female sign next to it.
Oh,
and then-
Nidoran.
Sure, that sounds kind of familiar. And then there was my douchebag arch nemesis, Red, who's got spiky hair and looks like a friggin' idiot and is Professor Oak, the biggest moron on the face of the planet's nephew, who we can't remember the name of because Professor Oak is a friggin' moron. I go up north for it's like a 2-minute walk. It's a 2-minute walk from whatever town you start into. What is it, Viridian City? I walk into the shop like, hey, here's this package. Professor Oak wants you to take it home for him. Really, he couldn't walk 2 minutes north to get this shit? He's like,
Chris,
he gives me a
he's busy on
Pokemon.
Poke business.
He gives me a Pokemon and says, here, go out into the wild, do all sorts of shit, but first pick up my groceries. I'm like, fuck this guy. Professor Oak's a jackass. But, yeah, and then the Red has a Bulbasaur that I've now beaten up twice and feel bad about. But, yeah, read all about my adventures in Pokemon on our website. Dan, talk to me. What do you got for us?
I was hoping you were going to go with my setup there. Well done, sir. By the way, the correct answer for your favorite Pokemon is Cubone, by the way.
Yeah, except that Eevee is clearly the best Pokemon ever.
All right, let's not get into this conversation. This could literally be a whole episode.
I've been playing a couple things. Usually when I fall into I don't have a lot of time to jump into something. Usually the game that I go to, and I was playing it actually just before we started recording as well. One of my very, very favorite games of all time is Kung Fu on the NES. It is 5 levels of walking left or walking right and punching shit in the face. It's amazing. Like,
I love Kung Fu.
You're a Kung Fu master named Thomas, and you have to save your girlfriend from the evil Mr. X because motherfuckers were not creative. And like you just walk through this dojo looking area, and there are some guys that, to show you that they're really evil, dressed in baby blue jumpsuits with a pink vest, pink shoes, and they dyed their hair the exact same shade of pink. And as they walk up towards
seriously, go back and look at 80 movies. The bad guy always wears pink.
But like,
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
It's
Blaine.
It's okay, but it's not even the pink. It's the fact that these dudes are like evil kung fu masters that have coordinated their vest, shoes, and hair. Like that is a whole level.
Also,
of
see
ridiculous.
Flea from the Back to the Future movies.
Yeah, well, sure.
It's all about
But
appearance,
they don't
guys.
do any kung fu. They run at
No,
you.
they
wave their
hold
arms
you.
above their heads, and then they just stand in front of you with their pointing at you or hugging you or something.
That's the best part of that game is that it's lousy with these pink and blue dudes like coming at you, and they walk at you and they put their arms over their heads in a "ooh, I'm gonna get you" kind of way, and when they get you, they just hold you, like they hug you too tight.
So maybe they're not bad guys. Maybe they just, are fragile and sensitive and just needed a hug, and then you came along and kung fu'd them.
They just love too much.
Yes. And look what you've done to them now. They were trying to reach out and have a connection with a fellow human being, and you kung fu'd them in the face.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe Thomas is the bad guy. Maybe Mr. X is trying to
thinking
protect Sylvia from Thomas. His
Stupid Sylvia in a red dress.
tied to
damn
a
it.
chair.
Tip the chair over, Sylvia. Come on.
Honestly,
Help
Thomas
yourself
seems
out.
kind of violent. I'm kind of concerned about Sylvia. Like, this doesn't seem like a healthy relationship.
Now, not for nothing, you do also fight midgets, which is like really
That is not appropriate.
the first time. Sorry, little people. Is that what we're still going with? Because that
Yes.
still sounds way more offensive.
Nah, you fight midgets, you fight big fat guys, you fight a creepy old dude, you can kick his head off, it's weird.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
So you're-
I love that
punch
guy.
you. Oh, your head's gone. Oh wait, you're a magician. And
And he summons
guy with a
giant
boomerang.
moths to come attack you.
Wait, you're fighting a circus?
It really
bunch of
seems like
carnies.
it. I never
Yeah, you get
considered
the
it
first
that way,
wave of
Dean, but
acrobats in their
It's
matching
true.
pink and blue uniforms.
But you fight.
Then you got a strong man.
This is like Kung Fu is like Thomas's fever dream. He's like some dude, like some hipster douchebag with a popped collar and a club.
I think Mr. X was really just trying to throw anything at you that he could think of to save poor Sylvia.
No, wait. His name is Mr. X. I think we've got the whole thing figured out. His name is Mr. X. The bad guy's hug.
Oh damn! He's tripping on ecstasy.
Obviously.
I'm gonna go lay down now. This is taken like one of my very favorite games because it's so silly and stupid and really easy. By the way, it's a game that you can beat in like 7 minutes, I think, if you're mildly good at it. And like it's so weird. It's so racist. I think
this says a lot more about you than it does about the game.
It really does. It's a very I don't know. Chris, I know you have played this. Dean, have you ever played Kung Fu?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Well, my question for you, Dan, is have you played Kung Fu Master?
No, I have not played. Is that like the sequel?
It's the same game. All right, so this was an arcade game, and for some reason the NES version is just called Kung Fu. But I had this game. I had Kung Fu Master for Atari, which is imagine this game on an Atari 2600. It's pretty gnarly.
Is it like Haunted House? It's just a fist and a foot.
No, you can kind of tell what it is. Like it even makes the same kind of musical cues as the NES game. But yeah, it's I don't know why the NES one was just called Kung Fu, but I was curious if you had ever played the arcade version because I haven't. The only versions I've played is the Atari and the NES ones, and I've always wanted to play the arcade game because it looks kind of neat. It's it's the same thing. Those dudes are still wearing purple. They got the purple vests and the light blue, pink or whatever the heck going on, but it's got like slightly better graphics because it's an arcade game. And I was curious if you'd ever played it.
No, I should seek it out though. I mean, it's such a weird game. Like it really is. Like when you really think about what is happening on the screen, like you can take a knife to the face like 4 times before you die. And not just like somebody touches you with the knife in the face, like this dude throws a knife at your face and you're just like, ugh. And then you just go punch him in the face a few times. Like,
and it's even got the red blood splat too. Like all the other times you get hit, it's like a little
profusely
tan thing or whatever, and then like it hits your face and like a red splat comes out or something like that.
It's such an amazing game.
Those guys are just dicks because they'll stay like just far enough away from you, like you won't be able to catch up to them while they're trying to aim or something. They'll just keep walking away and they'll just throw a knife. Like you bastard!
Son of a bitch! You hit me with a knife in the face. It's just not nice.
Does he do the Peter Griffin?
You really should. You really, really should. And like, not for nothing, this game possibly has the greatest evil laugh, like in the little cutscene that you get of like Sylvia's red dress wearing sluttiness tied to this chair.
Oh no, she's a slut.
She is a slut. Mr. X just has this laugh in the background, like it had Chris yet. Yeah, that's perfect.
Look it up. I'm surprisingly spot on that. I don't know. It's pretty great, but Soda Popinski's laugh is pretty amazing too.
I would argue that Mr. X is better.
I love Soda Popinski. He's
I'm not entirely convinced that it's not the same sound effect.
I was just about to say, I think it might be the same. It also sounds shockingly similar to Sinistar's laugh.
Did anybody ever play? There was the name just jumped out of my head for the Master System, and when I say anyone, I really do actually just Chris because I know
you're talking about My Hero, aren't you?
No, My Hero is like the best game ever made. But there was a Kung Fu game. God damn it! What is it called for the Sega Master System? The box art is just a foot, like a cartoon foot.
I have this game. Hold on a second. I know exactly what you're talking about. Black Belt.
Black Belt. Similar premise to Kung Fu. Like you just walk around punching and kicking shit in the face. Black Belt, such a better game.
Black Belt.
Like overall, such a great game.
Don't think I've heard of this game.
Seriously, and I put this out there, it is the worst box art in the history of ever. It is worse than Mega Man. It is literally a cartoon, like a Hanna-Barbera style cartoon foot with like a little bit of a leg that is wrapped in a gi, and then there is an impact splot behind the foot.
What's the name of the game?
That's it. Black belt for the
but
Sega Master System.
Just look at all the Sega Master System.
Yeah, they're all
box
pretty
art.
bad.
I mean, it's all
sure.
that. It's like
Sure,
great
but
golf
this
is a
one-
golf club.
Hey, boo-boo, we gotta go get some
Like
black
it's
belts.
the same thing that white with the checkerboard. It's a golf club.
Yeah, but
Or how about
No.
pro wrestling, where there's a decapitated wrestler holding some other wrestler's head, and that's
that
it.
one's that's
or
the best.
or
Well,
you
they
know what?
get to
I
the
would
point.
argue that My Hero is worse because it is all right. So My Hero is it's like a punk rock dude getting punched in the face of this same similar like left-handed Hanna-Barbera drawing with just a blank background, but that is that art on the hue card being held by a hand. So the box art is a picture of a hand holding the game that's inside the box.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Not for nothing, My Hero, such a great game.
Yeah, My Hero is pretty cool. My Hero is
Such a
pretty
good,
cool.
so hard, so fucking hard that game. Because like insta death, one hit kill, never fun. But like the jump kick when you're kicking bottles back at these punk rock dudes that are trying to like, you're like a kung fu dude in like a denim shirt and jeans and like a red tie. It's very strange, but it's really awesome.
Yeah, 80s.
Fantastic. God, I love Kung Fu. All right, Tiff, what do you got?
Well, like Dan said, we've had kind of a chaotic month. So, for me, it was also a throwback thing. I replayed through Portal 2 because, for my money, Portal 2 is the best game ever of all time, forever and ever. I just don't see it getting better than that. I really, really loved Portal 1, like everyone did. Much more of a casual puzzle game, but the plot and the story and the acting that went into Portal 2 just blows me away. It's like reading your favorite book or watching your favorite movie over and over again. I don't think I could ever get tired of playing that game. It's just perfect. No, I'm the only one? Really?
No. See, I go back and forth on this, and it's probably because I played the first Portal more. Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation summed up how I felt about Portal 2 perfectly, was that Portal 2's the only problem with Portal 2 is that Portal 1 exists. That's the only issue with it. It's not. It's as good as Portal 1, but there's more of it, and it's more clever. It kind of takes it to the next level, but there was something just kind of magical about the first one that, I mean, obviously the second one is also incredibly magical, but I feel like the first one was just so the right thing at the right time with the right tech. It is compact. It doesn't go on too long, but it's also not too short, and it's the kind of game, because of its length and relative difficulty, that it can appeal to such a broader audience than Portal 2, which does get considerably more in depth and is way longer. And it's hard to fault it for that, because you really can't fault it for that, because it took everything Portal 1 did and then did it better. It looked it better. It was smarter. It was funnier. God, the puzzles with the goop, the crazy orange and blue goop that went everywhere.
See, I
it
kind of felt like
is
Portal 1
amazing.
was like a test run for the game physics. I really enjoyed Portal 1, and it was very, very clever and very unique and really interesting, but once I started playing Portal 2, I really feel like Portal 1 was just a, let's see what we can do with this. Okay, now we know what we can do with it, now let's go do it.
Now let's hire J.K. Simmons, because that's always a good
everything.
idea.
Stephen Merchant, Elaine McLean. I mean, it's amazing. The spoiler alert and all that. I don't want to go too. Honestly, if you're listening to this and you haven't played Portal 2 yet, I think I've said that before. But if you haven't played Portal 2 yet, you turn this off immediately and go play Portal 2. But the arc that they take with Gladys and Caroline, and I was floored. I was floored. I don't know that I've ever had to put down a controller and walk away for a little bit to collect myself. That first time when Gladys says, "Who is that person?" Oh my God! I'm like,
oh my God,
oh
you're
my God!
right.
Oh my God!
that was
yeah.
that was
And
And
killer.
that first time when he says like, "Hey Caroline, do this," and she says, "Yes, Mr. Johnson." Why did I just say that? I'm getting chills right now. I'm getting chills right now just talking about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I mean,
that
it has
was
all of the great
astonishing.
physics and all of the great puzzles and everything that Portal 1 has, but then it has this incredible story. it's so like multi-layered because you have like the craziness of Gladys's backstory, and then you also have the kind of emotional roller coaster that Wheatley takes you on of, oh yay, we're friends. Isn't this great? We're gonna do this together, Wheatley. Wheatley, what are you doing? Wheatley, don't do that. No! And it's so upsetting. And then it's great. It's just wonderful. And anytime that I just have a minute, there's like no time that I don't want to pick that up and play it, especially if I don't have a lot of time invested to get into a new story or anything like that. It's just I feel like every time I play it I catch a new little thing in the background. Like this time, for instance, right at the beginning when you first wake up again and you first get the portal gun again and you start going through the destroyed laboratory, there's a part where you can go behind one of the panels where you can see where, what is it, Radigan, the old employee, where he's written on things, and there's one part where if you look up, he's written the phases of the moon around the hole that you end up seeing the moon through at the end. And of course, on the first playthrough, you don't realize it at all. But it's total foreshadowing, and it totally gives away the ending right there. That he's telling you, watch for the moon, and showing you that the full moon will hit in this spot at this time. And it's just so, the layers that they put into what on the surface seems like such a simple little puzzle game is breathtaking.
One of the great things for me that makes Portal and Portal 2 so amazing as a gaming experience is the complete and total satisfaction of figuring those goddamn puzzles out.
When you first walk into a new area,
son of a bitch, that was awesome.
When you first walk into a new area and you're like, I got nothing. I have no idea. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going. And then you work through it a couple minutes later and you're like, yes, I'm a genius.
Yeah,
everybody should bow down to me because clearly I'm the only one that has ever gotten past this level ever. I'm a genius.
It is instantaneous.
Yeah, that game is really good at making you
frustration
feel smart.
To, God damn it, I'm the smartest person alive. And it just repeats it for a few hours, and it's such a great cycle. It does that so well of challenge, satisfaction, challenge, satisfaction, in a way that very few games do.
I gotta say, I feel like Gabe Newell sits on top of his mountain fortress because obviously that's where he lives because he has so much money, and every I don't know, what is it like? I'd say 7 to 10 years, people get a little complacent. They think they know how to make video games. He comes down from his mountain fortress and he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna release another game. Here you go. It's better than anything you've ever played. Nope, yep, bad. Don't even try. It's just gonna be the best game ever.
Here's something for you guys to copy for the next 10 years until I decide to grace you with my presence.
You know what
again.
though? That's what's so great about Portal is how do you copy that? How do you copy that without just being like, yeah, we totally copied this?
No, like, you're right.
For instance,
he made games smarter.
Well, but like God of War. As soon as God of War came out with the Chaos Blades, I feel like every game that came out for like the next 3 years had the exact same physics. But you could kind of be like, well, there's a different story. Like, this is just a different way of punching.
Yeah, but this one is Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, but there is nothing that you can do like Portal that would be anything other than, hey, why are you trying to be like Portal? Like, it is so unique that there's nothing about that you could copy at all.
Well, and I mean, you could even take, for example, look at Half-Life. I'm not going to say him, but Valve in general more or less just rewrit like everything we knew about shooters at that point. Take something like the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. There's never going to be anything as cool as picking up random objects from your surroundings and launching them at people. The first time I ever played that game, like, I picked up a saw blade and launched it at someone. I was like, that is by far the coolest thing I've ever done. And now there have been games that have done that after, like Dead Space. Dead Space was cool because you used kinesis. You didn't have a gravity gun, but your whole body was, I guess, a gravity gun at that point, and it was neat. But it's just Valve has been so instrumental in, I guess, I don't want to say pushing the limits, but definitely reinventing games as something else, because Half-Life 2 was just a fantastic game. Portal again, was just something that came out of nowhere. And then you have Portal 2 that built upon that original idea into really just a fantastic, polished product. And then on top of that, made a separate co-op mode. You sold. There's nothing else you could do. And then even other things they did, like Team Fortress. Team Fortress is a huge success, and it's been around forever. It is a mainstay to shooters. Same thing with Dota 2 that they made. It came into the mobile market, and it's probably the biggest or second to biggest online esports game that you could play right now, and they probably have the biggest prize pots and most notoriety out of any of the online sport communities.
I have a theory. I have a crazy fan theory, and I might have to just like leave the world of pop culture if this theory ends up coming true. But I have a theory that the Half-Life 3 and Portal 3 are going to be one game, and they're going to be together.
Well, there's been hints of that for a while because Black Mesa and Aperture, they've made connections, and there's Easter eggs in some places.
It's in the same
and
world. It's Portal takes place between the first Half-Life and the second Half-Life, and then Portal 2 takes place way after Half-Life 2. But with the way that the co-op mode ended in Portal 2, I don't know. I feel like there's an opening there, and they really need to take it.
Yeah, but where does Left 4 Dead fit into all of that?
It does.
But wow, that's another game I forgot about. I mean, look at Left 4 Dead. That's another game where that took co-op on a whole new thing, a story-driven co-op, and that was the whole game. There was nothing else to it. You got what they advertised. 4 people going through these odd sort of story-driven missions. I can't really even describe them, to be honest, but I mean that was a cool freaking game, and people still play that. That's how popular it is. And
God damn it, the witches are scary.
Oh yeah,
You hear that crying, and it's just like, nope, not going over there, not doing it, not even a little bit.
To be honest, every single game that they've made, fans are clamoring for a sequel. It's never that, this was okay. I could, whatever. If they don't come out with another one, everyone wants another title from them. And I mean, with good reason. They make quality games, and perhaps that's why they don't spit them out like EA or Activision, because they take their time and they make sure their product is good before they release it. And that's why they're so enduring.
All right, I got 3 things to say about Portal before we move on to what I've been playing. Thing number 1, you all know how high I regard my favorite games, and especially things like Super Metroid, talking about storytelling. Portal is that high on the list for me. Portal justifies an Xbox 360 purchase for me. Portal is one of the few shining examples of modern gaming that I completely get into. Portal and Portal 2 are they are in my top 10 favorite games of all time, hands down. They're amazing. And Portal and Portal 2, I think, are another brilliant example of how to do storytelling in gaming, because the game is the story. Kind of like how I've talked before about how Super Metroid, playing the game is the story. When you're done playing the game, you have experienced a story. And Portal does that in a very modern kind of sensibility, in a way that you play something like Uncharted, you're watching a lot of the story, and then you're playing stuff. You shoot a bunch of guys, then you watch a story. You shoot a bunch of guys, you watch a story. Metal Gear, you watch a story. You go get a sandwich, you're still watching a story. You graduate from college, you're still watching a story. Then you play a game for 5 minutes, and then you watch more story.
It's a damn
Portal,
good story.
Portal, the game is the story, and it leads you through, like, it doesn't lead you through this linear path to make it feel like a linear path. Kind of like how Metroid's open world, but they're guiding you to your next path. And Portal, it never felt like it was like this is exactly where to go. It felt like I have no choice but to go here next, because this is just where the game is naturally leading me. And when it did things like made you kill the companion cube in the first game,
she makes you do it twice in Portal 2.
I know, and it's like, that kind of stuff was amazing. So Portal and Portal 2 are amazing examples of how video game storytelling can be done right and can only be done with that medium. That is how you use that medium to tell a story like no other.
I agree.
The other thing...
Sorry, just,
no, go
just
ahead.
real quick. It also kind of forces you to slow down and take it all in and really appreciate what they've done, because there's several parts, especially when you get really down to the bottom of the old laboratories. If you rush through it and you're just focused on where do I make my portal and how do I get out of here, you miss large parts of the story, because the voiceovers and things are happening in a certain area, and if you just walk past them, it does not keep playing for you. You just walk past it, and if you don't stop and listen to what they're saying, you miss like the entirety of the story. And I think that's really brilliant, because it really makes you have to stop and look around and really kind of get into the world that they're trying to build for you, instead of just having a cutscene or instead of just forcing it down your throat. It really forces you to experience the world in which they intended to by having it done like that.
It's very thoughtful design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Metroid Prime does a very similar thing, and it does it kind of differently, but the way that it does it, where in Metroid Prime you're on this world that has a story as deep as you want it to be. If you want to scan things and read the story, you can, and you can learn all kinds of things about the experiments the space pirates did on the Metroids, and what the different results were, what the names of all the ships are. You can go as deep into it as you want, or just like in Portal, if you just want to solve puzzles and you don't give a crap about the story, you can just keep plowing through. You just keep on shooting bad guys or making portals, however you want to do it. And I think that's brilliant. And that's how you do that kind of thing in a video game, because that way the game can be whatever the player wants it to be, and then you can be as immersed in the universe as you want to be. Moving on to thing number 2 I wanted to say is that Portal 2 has one of the most odd and beautiful moments I've ever experienced in a video game, which is the ending. So we're back in spoiler territory here. Obviously, if you haven't played this and you didn't listen to Tiff, listen to me. Stop listening to the podcast, go play Portal 2. Do it now. When you finally get to the end of the game and you do the thing you do to end the game, and you're finally free, and you're going up you go to this room and doors open up and there's turrets everywhere, and I'm like, shit,
She lied to
I'm
me
dead.
again. They're gonna kill
she
me
lied to me
again.
again.
That
It's
bitch.
over. I'm dead. And then they start singing
And it's
Karamia.
It's beautiful.
It's stunning. I
Look, I've got
put the
chills
controller
again.
down.
It's crazy.
Me too, because thinking about how gorgeous it was, and it's that weird, silly little turret voice that starts it off, and they're like little twitches back and forth, and then there's giant turrets in the background
Oh
making,
yeah, the
you know,
big,
filling
the
out
big
the
animal
bass
king
tones.
turret. Yeah.
Oh
it's
my
amazing.
god! And and then you start going up this elevator, and the music is elevating, and you are literally elevating in the game. And it's just one of the most stunning things I've ever experienced in a game. It was bizarre. It was complete science fiction, but it was completely beautiful at the same time. And then you make it out to the top, and they throw your companion cube back at you, like, here, take it and go. And then it goes into
And then
the
surrounded off
amazing,
with Jonathan Colton's
the Jonathan Colton
song.
song,
It's
yeah,
just-
which is
it's so
as good
perfect.
as, I go back and forth on which one I like better, because Still Alive is so good, but Want You Gone
Want You
is
Gone
also
is-
so good. They're so good. It's like choosing between, I don't know, pizza and more pizza. You
Yeah,
know?
that's,
like,
that's
I
the
just
only
don't
video
know.
game song ever that I've been like, I just really want to listen to that song. Like I'm just gonna put it on YouTube and I'm just gonna listen to that song because it's awesome. I mean,
It really is.
Anybody that
The-
doesn't have deep love for Jonathan Colton to begin with is crazy. But and then with Ellen McLean's wonderful acting, it's just perfect. It's just top to bottom. I cannot find a flaw with this game. No matter how many times I pick it up, I love every single second of it.
I don't know. I don't like the color orange.
Fight me.
Get bent. Your hair's orange, and none of this strawberry blonde crap.
Maybe
my
yellow
final
would've been
point
better.
is the potential. Now, you were saying you couldn't imagine things being better, and as soon as I finished Portal 2, I started to imagine what they would do with a Portal 3. especially since the last thing you do is shoot a portal to the moon.
Right.
Can you imagine Portal with zero gravity elements?
Well, did you
Jesus
complete
Christ.
the co-op?
I did not complete the co-op.
Okay, well, spoiler alert again.
Go ahead and tell it to me because I could never. I'm never gonna have the time.
Yeah,
to do it with
difficult
somebody.
because I am not a very cooperative person, and having to, I mean, it is the most cooperative co-op game in the world. You literally have to work together every single second, and I hate working together.
I did it with my friend Jane on Xbox Live, and there was a lot of yelling and screaming,
it's
like
so frustrating.
obscene amounts.
Put your goddamn portal there,
So
you
what it is
fucker.
the whole point of Atlas and Peabody is that the human, Shell, that she's been trying to test with this whole time is entirely too unreliable. She keeps trying to kill her, all this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to test with robots. I made these robots, I'm going to test with them, I can take them apart after every test, and everything will be fine forever. Well, at the very end of it, the robots find the vault, and in the vault are the hundreds of other test subjects that Wheatley alludes to at the beginning of Portal 2. And so Gladys says, "Oh, good. That's wonderful. You found all my other test subjects," and smashes Peabody and Atlas.
Huh.
So now there are hundreds of other humans that she has found that are in stasis in the vault.
Well, that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
So there's hundreds of other humans that she has access to, and Wheatley's in space.
Yep.
And we can obviously get portals from point A to point B. So, yeah, if Portal 3 isn't in space and involves zero-gravity portal puzzles, I don't even know what to do with my life. But the promise of that is one of the most amazing things
But with all those
of.
people trapped in Aperture Labs, that's why I feel like some kind of mashing together of Half-Life and Portal could be really freaking amazing.
Gordon Freeman portals. That's all you need to know. That's it.
What I'm saying.
Done.
Like, he has to come in and save everybody or something. I don't even know, but like, it's there. The opportunity is so there. Just reach out and take it, and the world will be such a much better place.
All right, I couldn't agree more. All right, real quick, I'm going to bang out mine before we take a break. So, I've obviously played a bunch of things over the month. I mean, this has also been a crazy month for me. We're moving. I got a new job, and we're moving far away, and it's been tough to find time to play games, but we have done some. Obviously, I've played Pokemon Blue, which you can read about online. I've played a metric ton of Smash Brothers. Still playing on 3DS. At least 3 or 4 times a week, just because the game's just so much fun. I'm so stoked for the Wii U version. The big 50 some odd facts that they released just increased my fervor for the game even more. I'm jazzed beyond belief. But the first major thing that I'll talk about is before I packed up the Retron 5, me and Karen, my wife, we had an evening where we played a bunch of retro games, and after she went to bed, I wound up spending a little bit of time with 2 different flavors of Marble Madness. I played the NES version and the Genesis version because I love Marble Madness, and I really wanted to play the NES version, which was my version. Obviously there was the arcade and all that other stuff came first, but my first version was the NES game. That's what I know backwards and forwards. And one of the great things about the Retron 5 is that it displays these games in just such beautiful, vibrant, crystal clear colors on my HD TV. Even though there's a little bit of button lag, it never matters to the extent that it should, because it's just it's like seeing them for the first time. It's like seeing them with no filter. Just, this is as pure of visual experience as you'll get out of one of these retro games imaginable. There it is. It looks wonderful. And yeah, man, NES Marble Madness I grew up with. I went nuts with. I'm fairly certain this is a David Wise soundtrack. Even though he didn't compose the original tracks, he arranged them for the NES version, because even though Milton Bradley published it, Rare developed it from Atari, who I think made it in the first place. So hooray for ports and stuff like that. But the game sounds great. It controls great, even though you don't have the big marble control like you had in the arcade. And then there's the Genesis version, which I didn't play until years and years and years later, which is much more similar to the arcade version. It's actually a really, really faithful port, and it sounds a lot more like the arcade game with the weird Genesis twangy, bizarre sounds that it makes. But man, Marble Madness is so cool. This weird three-quarter isometric perspective and just rolling marbles around. And
Can I just say that Marble Madness is right up there, probably tied pretty evenly with Game Gear's Lion King, as the least successful I have ever been at playing a video game ever. That game is so hard for me, and I don't know if this is like a spatial reasoning thing, if I am just missing my marble rolling gene. I don't know what the problem is, but I think I've successfully made 2 or 3, maybe 3 on a really good day turns with that frickin' marble. I'm missing the Marble Madness ability. It's
I'm not gonna bullshit
so
you. That
hard.
that game is pretty hard.
yeah, no, you're not missing anything. The game's insane. Like
And I
the
just,
game
like,
is pure psychosis.
I don't understand. I don't understand how making myself feel bad about myself is entertainment. Like, I play that game for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, how is this fun for everybody? I just feel like a failure as a human being. Like, and that's not what I like to do for entertainment. So I'm gonna go find something else now.
Marble Madness for me was like one of those games that I had when I was a kid, the NES version, and it's just, you know, when you're a little kid, like I had my NES and I was like 6 or 7, and sure there were games that I wanted, but there always seemed to somehow be games that I had for some reason that I don't remember ever being like, hey, parents, go buy me Marble Madness, you know, like, but that was a game that I had. So as a kid, it was like, I have this and I'm gonna play it, and this game's really goddamn hard. But then as you get older, it was like you start to appreciate the intricacies and level design in this maddening, frustrating ass game.
Yeah, no, fuck that. That game was made by some kind of masochist that was just like, you know what? People made me feel bad about myself when I was little, so I'm going to find a way to make the masses feel bad about themselves. And I'm going to do it with this game that looks all sweet and innocent and easily accessible and is going to make people want to jump off buildings.
Well, Tiff, have you played the arcade game or just the
I
console
have done
ones?
both. That's the crazy thing. Because when I actually saw that in the arcade for the first time, I was like, okay, I get it now.
It's
This
got
is
a
how this
trackball.
was supposed to be.
Right.
I'm totally going to be able to do this with the trackball because this is how this was supposed to be. I got this. Nope.
Right off
Total
the
waste
side.
of quarters. Nope.
Yeah, see, like, I find the arcade game even harder with the giant marble controls, but it's so much funnier. Like, because you're just, like, batting away at this giant ball. You feel like a cat or something, just like, no, turn this way. And I couldn't get nearly, like, I can beat the NES game, like, almost every time. The arcade game is, like, I can't get anywhere in that game because it's just so crazy. But I understood why it was made like that, and then converting it to D-pad controls, it does kind of lose something. But yeah, that game's
like whatever
hard.
shred of humanity it had left. Is that what it loses? Because that's what it feels like it loses.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and there's a more modern version of that game, and it's a game that we purchased on the
We've talked
PlayStation
about it on here
shop,
before.
the Hamster Ball.
I find
game.
Hamster Ball way less maddening than
And-
Marble Madness.
No, sure, like Hamster Ball.
At least
and-
there's a fun hamster
we
that
have-
dances for you at the end.
Yeah, we have mentioned it before. Like, my kids absolutely love watching this game, and it's a lot of running through mazes, and there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens. But there is a section of the Hamster Ball game that is not like a race against the clock. It is Marble Madness, but in a really obtuse version of Marble Madness. Like, there are anti-gravity walls, and like you'll be coming down a plane, down a ramp, and then all of a sudden you get to a point where you have to go back up, but you're going
But, like,
up the side of a
underneath?
wall and then
Yeah, it's
down
weird.
and underneath a thing. It's like Marble Madness in space. It's very strange.
But I still felt like the controls were much more intuitive and less soul crushing.
No,
I'm
that
not
game's
terribly
pretty
good at the hamster
soul-crushing.
game either, but nothing
And
like
you've-
Marble Madness.
You've also got Super Monkey Ball, which is really similar to Marble
Right.
And
Madness
I'm
in a lot of
actually
ways,
really
too.
good at Super Monkey Ball. So go figure.
Maybe you just need a monkey in your game.
Maybe I just need a monkey. Maybe
Now,
if Marble
Marble
Madness
Madness-
would give me a monkey, I could get behind it.
Marble Madness did actually have a sequel made to it. I don't know that it actually finished getting made or what its level of release is. It's one of those weird, kind of arcade things that I don't know how well it existed or whatever, but there was a really weird sequel to this called Marble Man. And apparently it's like
that just sounds
your
horrible.
marble turns into like a marble dude or something like that, and you walk around and do things. I don't know enough about it. I've heard it spoken about on different podcasts and things. It is
I'm
such
pretty
a
sure the creator of that
strange.
game is a serial killer.
Yeah, probably. It's wild as heck. I'm actually looking at a YouTube video of it. It looks like it went 3-player, so you could have 3 marbles running around, and it looks like it's just more Marble Madness. I don't know where the Marble Man thing is coming from,
So
but it's got,
Marble Man doesn't look like Vector Man, because that's what I'm picturing in my mind.
that's what I'm picturing. When I hear Marble Man, I'm thinking either that or one of the main characters from Balls, but no, this game looks really cool. It's pretty wild. I think it's only available in like an arcade prototype. But yeah, Marble Madness 2, Marble Man. It is a thing that exists. It's pretty wild. And we're gonna call it a break at that. We've all gone around the room once. We've talked about a few things that we've been playing, so we're gonna sit back, relax, get ourselves a frosty beverage or something, come back and maybe take another trip around the room and see what else this month has in store for us. So stick around. All right, welcome back, everybody. So the first half of the show ran kind of long, so the second the second segment is going to be a little bit shorter. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another round around the room, except this time everybody only has 60 seconds to talk about the game that they want to talk about. So first up, Dean, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
Okay, so there's this game on the iPhone called Bloons TD5, Bloons TD5. It's a tower defense game, and I love tower defense games, and it's really cool, light. You get all these different towers. There's got to be at least 25, 30 different towers that you can get, and there's all kinds of mode, ranging from easy to impossible. The game's only $3.99, and there's probably 70 hours of just gameplay that you can dive into. It's probably one of the best purchases I've ever made, and I would recommend it. How quick did I do that in?
Geez, that was only 35 seconds.
Good.
Way to go,
Good,
Dean.
I cut it down.
All right. Coming in under budget. All right. Dan, are you ready?
Sure.
And go.
Angry Birds Transformers. Angry Birds is dumb. It's fucking played out. It's ridiculous, right? It's a stupid concept. You fling birds at pigs. It's really dumb. However, Angry Birds Transformers is really kind of fun. You run around as like the bird version of Optimus Prime or the bird version of Bumblebee, and instead of being flung from a slingshot, you shoot the pigs, the Deceptipigs, as it were. It's really quite ridiculous. There's a lot of gameplay in there. It's a free game. But the thing that really made it awesome for me, the reason that I really loved it, is that it has the original Generation 1 Transformers show opening recreated with accurate music and graphics, but with the birds. And like it's so, you can tell it was made with love, which gives it a pass on all the other dumb shit that's included. So for a free
And
iOS
time.
game, damn it, download it.
All right. Tiff, are you ready?
I'm ready.
And go.
I just started Don't Starve, which we got, I believe, as one of the free Instant Collection PlayStation games a few months back. I'm not terribly far into it. This one is really stretching myself as a gamer because this is one of those ever so fun games that has permanent death. So you die and you start over. And as I've said before, many, many times, I die a lot. So I'm really trying to stretch myself. I'm really trying to get through the game because it is a lot of fun and you know, lots of people really like it. So I'm working on it. But it's really interesting. It's got a really cool, like, Tim Burton kind of vibe to it. The main character, Wilson, really reminds me of Vincent from the old Vincent Tim Burton short. And it's basically just a survival game. You know, you chop down some wood, you find some carrots, you eat something, you try not to go insane, and
You
and
also
I'm having
try
a good
not
time.
to starve.
And you try not to starve. Yeah, that's like, you know, point number one. Don't starve. But I'm having a lot of fun. Right now I'm just in the regular game mode and
Time.
Okay. There's an adventure mode too.
Awesome. Wow, good job. All right, now it's my turn. And go. All right, the last game I want to talk about is the Bayonetta 2 demo on the Wii U. I was never got to really jump into Bayonetta too much. I always thought it was kind of interesting because of just how insane it was, and it's a game by Platinum, and Platinum games I'll play just about anything they make because they're clinically insane, every last one of them. The first Bayonetta seemed kind of derivative of Devil May Cry, so I didn't give it a whole lot of attention. Bayonetta 2, I just kept hearing good things about it, so I said, what the heck, I'll download the demo. The demo is amazing. The combat is smooth as silk. The game is gorgeous. It is completely bananas. I'm fighting angels and demons, and there's hair monsters and giant high heels kicking through portals and kicking other things in the face, and then some girl in red, who I think is my sister, who is also some weird hair demon, dies, but I thought they were demons, so they couldn't die, and she goes down to hell, and there's like some other dude in a car, and I think some little kid who's playing basketball, and the whole thing is really fucking weird, and I love it. It's amazing. Bayonetta 2, grab it, and time. All right, that was fun.
We should do that more often.
Wait. There's a kid playing basketball and a dude in a car and hair monsters.
I think so.
Nope,
It's
besides
like
that,
Brooklyn.
We're
Yeah, no,
Brooklyn. God damn it.
It is.
I was going to say, just as a quick note, you can also download the new version of Don't Starve on Steam, which has built-in co-op now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Spiffy.
It's called Don't Starve
Yeah.
Together. It's adorable.
Yeah,
I know.
it's Markiplier is playing it on YouTube right now, and I can't stop watching it. Next time I get a paycheck, I'm probably going to spend the $10 and pick up the game.
If I can ever get through more than 4 or 5 days of the regular Don't Starve, I might consider it. But this permanent death thing is really
Chapping
difficult
your
for me.
ass.
It really does.
Yeah. So,
All right, guys, we're gonna call it on the show. Real quick before I hand things over to Dean to wrap things up, I'm gonna do a couple of quick plugs. I've mentioned on the show before. I'll mention again. Go to geeklife.com, jump into the think tank, Pokemon Propitiation, and follow the adventures of me playing a Pokemon game for the very first time. There's gonna be a new Into the Vault, which I keep forgetting the actual name of. It's the video series of me just finding random things for my collection, talking about them. One of those is going to be going up soon. I've also got this month's Lost in Time article pumping. Just kind of got a basic outline of it put together. This month I'm going to talk about the wonderful Lost NES classic Snake, Rattle, and Roll, which is another
God.
isometric 3D game. Snake, Rattle, and Roll is awesome. I can't wait to talk all about it. Dean, take us home.
So if you guys want to check out any of the stuff on our website, you want to get to our podcast, any of the articles, any of the videos, check out our show notes. Even if you want to contact us, we have all the links below. Or you can just head over to geeklife.com. That's www.g33klife.com.
And that's going to do it for us. Tune in next week for the return of Chiptune Trivia. It's gonna be a good one. I put together the playlist earlier today. I think it's gonna be pretty fantastic. I'm gonna get those files sent over to Dean, and we're gonna get that thing rolling. So in the meantime, I'm Chris. On behalf of Dean, Dan, and Tiff, thanks for listening, and see you next week. Ready?
If you don't do the 1950s voice, I am going to be pissed for the rest of the podcast. I just want you to know.
You probably should do that.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. With me tonight is Dan,
Good evening.
Tiff,
Hi.
and Dr. Dean DeFalco.
Hello.
Welcome to 1950s New York. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm talking like the announcer in the beginning of episodes of Legend of Korra. Have you ever seen The Legend of Korra?
No.
It's a very entertaining show. The beginning announcer always talks like this. It's a lot of fun. I also kind of sound like Terrence and Phillip. Buddy.
I was going to say,
Yep.
This is way more Terrence and Phillip than I was expecting. Quick, somebody make a fart joke.
Well, that worked pretty good.
Well done.